Hey y'all, hey y'all. Oh my God, right? We're back, we're back, we're back.
We
It is,
in the house.
eh, eh. It is I, A. Biggs. And
Yes, it's me, Sam. Okay, we back.
and look, this all I got. This is all I got.
Do you hear the sigh, friends?
Do y'all hear it? Because it's heavy. The sigh
It
is
is.
very, very heavy. Okay. It's very
Yes,
heavy. Um, it's been a minute. Like honestly, we haven't recorded. It's been almost a year.
it
Our
has. It
last
has.
recording was like September 20 something, and it's literally August
Was
31st.
it?
Yeah, I know,
That's
right?
wild.
Um,
We're
yeah,
gonna get into it on the show, but that makes sense to me given the way things have been playing out. But
yeah,
that's surprising. When you look at it in totality, it's like, wow, it's been almost a year since we've done this thing that we love so much.
I know, right? And it just tells you like you realize like how fast time is moving. So
Hmm.
we are not gonna belabor this conversation. Before we get into it, I just want y'all to know I'm putting a trigger warning out there because we're gonna get deep into some things
Mhm.
today.
Yep.
So if you have dealt if you like with the mental health, um,
Yes.
suicide,
Yep.
postpartum depression, just all
Mhm.
the things, we're gonna be getting into it,
Yes, we
but we
are.
wanna let you know, like, hey, if it's too much, it's okay.
We
It's
get
okay.
it.
We want
Join
we
us
wanna
next
let you know.
episode.
Right.
Because
We
one
wanna
thing
let you
about
know.
us is we gonna be positive, but we just have to process our emotions. Okay.
Right, and we gotta be
It's
real.
a
We gotta be real. So, real quick, yeah, so the last time y'all seen me, I've had a whole baby.
Like a whole human being.
A
Like
whole human. A whole
look,
human.
go to the YouTube so you can see my face. Like just a whole like little like
Look,
rocking of the baby.
look, your face, my face, like, I still look
We're aligned.
she over there quiet right now, but I'm still,
Yes.
like, looking at her every day like, "How we get here?"
Yes.
Yeah, so I had a baby in May, a
Yay.
baby girl. It was not planned for anyone who's wondering, because as you all remember, I turned 40 last
Mm-hmm.
year. And so I became a part of history, as somebody told me. I guess there's more women over 40 having babies than
Oh,
there
okay.
are, like, women that are in their like early 20s, is what I was told. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, don't mind being a part of history, but why does it have to be that?
Right. That's not like,
Right.
for anything
But
else. But
babies are a blessing. I
yes.
love my little boo.
And you're
And
healthy and she's healthy and she's
yeah,
beautiful.
and
Y'all haven't
we made
seen
it.
her, but let me tell you, I've seen
Yeah.
her and
She pops out.
she
She
is
pops out.
gorgeous.
If you're on my personal socials, y'all will see
Mhm.
her at least once a month for her little monthly
Yes.
picture. Those close to me get pictures, of course.
Yes.
And I guess it's like, one of those things like I think some things should just be kept to
Mhm.
like your circle. And I was like, I don't even know if I want to post her a whole lot. Eventually I'm sure I will, but right now it's just like for what?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but
But you're
yeah, so
also talking to somebody who kept their entire baby secret throughout COVID and then did not tell people about them until they were like 1 month old. So that's another story. We'll talk about it another time.
story.
But yeah, I get
But
it. Keep
but
the
yeah, so yeah, I have had a baby. I found out I was pregnant at the like mid October.
Yep.
Um, I found out I was pregnant, I think on a Monday. My cousin passed away, maybe like 3 days
Mhm.
after that.
Yes, rest in peace.
Yeah, so I was dealing with that, and you know how there was like one comes in, one's going out, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Not realizing that fast forward a few months, I would lose my mother-in-law, and she actually
Yeah.
passed on July 4th of this year. And so it's been interesting
Mhm.
because, like, obviously this is not my first kid.
Right, right.
My son is 11, so obviously dealing with that age gap, and then trying to make sure, I'm making time for him, but
Mhm.
taking care of her. I still got a whole husband. I still have a whole
Oh,
career.
yes. A
I
very
gotta
demanding
figure
one.
me out. Like, I gotta do all my things. So I'm trying to still like do my self-care, but also
Mhm.
make sure like everybody is okay.
Yep.
And I will say like the postpartum. depression is so real
Bro.
because I told my husband the other day, I was like, "Dude, I think I got postpartum depression." And he was
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, I think you do too." And
Keeping a list like, check, check.
yeah, and I was like, "I don't feel like I had it with James, who's my son, for those that don't know." And
Mhm.
he was like, "No, I think you had it
You did.
then." And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "But I feel like it's worse this time. Like, I don't know
Mhm.
what it is." I was like, "I'm always so sad."
Yep.
And I'm always like a few days ago, like, I just was on do not disturb for, like, 2 days.
Yep. Yep.
And I just sat in my room and cried. Just like
Yeah.
and
Because
I
you
was
have
like
to process these emotions, though.
yeah, but it was like, I'm one of those people, like, if you crying, it's a reason.
Right.
So, for me, I was like, I couldn't pinpoint the reason per se, but I think it was
Other
just
than the
like
fact that a human being came out of your body at
yeah, it's like, okay, this
because
whole
that feels
baby
like a
came out of
rebirth.
me. I was like, I hit 40. To be honest, I thought I was done. Not
Yep.
because now let's be clear, not because I was preventing it. Okay. I was out here being
Yeah.
irresponsible, if we
Yeah.
want to be honest. But it had been 8 years
Yeah.
since, I'd had anything. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, God, cool. We're gonna be one and done. That's cool. I'm the only child. I ain't tripping.
Right.
And then it just happened. And it's like, okay. And then during that time, I had, death in my family and then a
Yes.
major loss, my husband's family. For those that know, me and my mother-in-law were very close,
Mhm.
very close. I mean, my husband have been together almost 21 years. So
Yep.
we were very close. So
Yes.
then it's like, oh, and then I decided I was like, oh, I'm gonna breastfeed this time. And it was going really well because it didn't go
Mhm.
that well the first time around. And then my mother-in-law passed and then my milk like went away. So I was like,
Yep.
oh my God, I'm a failure. I can't feed my kid. I have to put her on formula. And
So, full disclaimer, like, I went through so much of this with my kids because I breastfed both of my children,
yeah.
and with my youngest, literally, he was just like, I got, like, maybe 3 or 4 months in before I had to give him, like, formula and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
it's just so crazy because these things that we're doing are honestly, like, superhuman. Almost, like,
Yeah.
they are, like, difficult to do in general, and so the
Mhm.
fact that we're like, "Oh, we're failing because we're using formula," or "This is not what our plan was,"
Yeah.
is I think it's just a symptom of being a corporate mom almost, like,
Mm,
when
yeah.
you're going to work and, for me, it was more like having to be into the office, and so I couldn't pump the way that I needed to, right? And it looks different for every mother, but just think it's so important to understand that, like, you can have a plan, but you can't necessarily control if that plan is gonna come to fruition, and
Yeah.
I
And
just
it's
think
like,
you're so brave for
let
just even
me
talking about it.
right. And, like, let me be clear. No shade to people that choose to give their children formula and all the things, like, I wanna be
Mhm.
clear about that. I think for me, it's just kinda like, "Oh, if I can do it, let's try it," you know?
Uh-huh.
Now, granted, I was able to feed her 2 whole months before, my milk kinda started to go down or whatever. So I was
Mhm.
like, "That's a win anyway," because with my son, baby, we
Yeah.
lasted 2 weeks,
Yeah.
if that, because he was just like, I'm not here for it," and,
Yeah.
whatever.
Like, no,
Yeah, but
no.
it was just like, "Oh," like, I'm doing this thing, and too, this time around, like, I really took time to, like, truly educate myself on
Mhm.
things, when it came to, like, doulas and
Yes.
lactation specialists and like all the things. Like I really was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And
Yep,
then
because when
and
you
then
have
when
a
I got
baby later, you have more resources, right?
right,
So
and I think that's the difference too. It's just like, okay, I have more resources, I'm more educated about this thing, and
yep.
whatever. So I just was like, oh my god. But anywho, so I'm like crying because my milk went down. I'm like, oh, I gotta give her formula. Then she has reflux. So it's like we feed her, but then she's spitting it up and
She throws
then
up,
she
yeah.
uncomfortable and this is that and other. So I gotta take her to the doctor. It's just all these different things. And then on top of here, I'm dealing with grief all over again.
Yes,
And it's
yes.
more so I'm kind of putting my grief to the back
Yeah.
because my son was very close to his grandmother.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to, be there for him and
Mhm.
then, support my husband because as y'all
Right.
know,
His
my
mama.
mom passed away 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll never tell anybody who's lost a parent how, like, I hate when people say, I know how you feel. No, you don't.
You don't.
Because your relationship with your parent is different than the one I had with mine. But I can
Mhm.
empathize and I've been there, you know,
Mhm.
for like helping them, like wherever they needed help, planning the funeral and just, just different things. So like, just all the things. And then it's still life is going on.
It is, yeah. I
Now the
remember when your mom passed, it was during COVID. When
Yeah,
COVID
we had
we were
just
coming
got
out of
my
COVID.
mom died in April of 2020 and like we shut down maybe like
Yep.
2, 3 weeks before that. So I didn't
Yep.
even get to like I would go visit my mom and all that. I couldn't even visit. So it's just like
Exactly.
it's tough. So it's like you're dealing with all of that. I said the one plus is like I'm on leave for like 6, 7 months.
Right. So that's
So I don't
good.
go back to work to January. I said, so good. That's something right
Mhm.
now I don't have to worry about. But damn,
Right.
right now I'd rather be at work.
Exactly, because at least you have something to focus on or,
Yeah, have something to
whatever.
focus on
Yeah.
versus like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay. What are we gonna do today? Like, do I
Mhm.
cry today? Does
Right.
somebody need something?" Oh, and then my son started a new school, which he started 6th
Mhm.
grade, but we switched to school for different reasons. And so, like,
Right.
I think it's going really well now, but it's like I'm literally fighting with this 11-year-old about
Right.
change and how
Mhm.
it's okay to change and how sometimes we got to make sacrifices for things to
Mhm.
be good on the end, just different things like that. So I know I'm not the only one dealing with that, but
Yeah.
that's kind of like where I
It's
have
hard when it's
been.
all mixed up in a soup of
Yeah,
discontent. You got just
literally.
like a whole bouillabaisse of no.
Yeah, yeah, and I will say, like, I am so thankful that I have, like, a husband that's, like, super supportive and, like,
Mhm.
whatever I need, he's like, "I'll do" whatever, and I don't even really have to ask. He just kinda, can
Just does
do
it.
the things, and he can almost read my mind, and, so that's been, like, very, very helpful, and I haven't been to the point of, like, I don't wanna be here, I just wanna jump in
Right.
the river, anything like that.
Mhm.
But there have been some days where I'm like, I just wanna disappear
Yeah.
for
Just
2
just a
seconds.
little just a little second. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
just 2
I
seconds.
totally understand that because I have literally said I don't wanna be here. I
Yeah,
literally have said that. And one thing about A Dot and I is that we are very close friends. We've been close friends for a very long time. And I had even reached out to her and said, you know, I don't think I'm going to be here for long,
yeah.
and I just, that to me was heartbreaking, right? Because I'm not that person. I'm the get over it person. I'm the succeed in spite of it person. I'm the
Mhm.
toxic, almost positivity person because I really do always think the best in every situation. And like as ADOT can tell you, like something crazy, like, oh, well, you're being murdered. It's okay. The doctor will be here. They're gonna sew me up. I'm gonna be fine. I'll be limping, but I'll be okay. Like, that's
Yeah,
totally me as a person. I'm
yeah.
always positive in every way. And this is a season of my life where honestly, I haven't been that positive. So Ada has given you some of the updates in her life. I think for me, one of the biggest things is my separation from my role in HR. I ended up leaving my employer, one because I was super stressed and I couldn't function, but also because the growth of the role just didn't align with what I needed in terms of where I was located. I can't just be moving at the drop of the hat. I also have children. I have 2 children. I have a whole husband. I have a whole life here. I'm a homeowner. So was unable to keep that role, but the difference is, and I've switched jobs. I switched jobs every probably 2 to 3 years, would you say, since I've been working in HR? The
Probably
difference
more like every 2.
every 2. Yes, I'd say every 2, 2.5, I'm switching jobs. And normally I do that because I'm a very authentic person. I have to, that's just me. I have to align with the work that I do every day, or else I just can't do it.
Mhm.
And so for me, I often will leave an employer, one, because I get recruited a lot for like
Mhm.
HR jobs. And I'm like, well, why would I continue to work for this person making this amount of money, right? When I can go here. And of course, I always look up the company. I figure out it's a good place to work and I go there and do those sorts of things. But I think the thing that's different here is I haven't been able to find a job. Honestly, I've been unemployed since August 1st of 2024. And so I'm
Wow.
still unemployed to this day. Yeah, and I've interviewed and I've gotten really far in the hiring process, but people for one reason or another have decided to go with other candidates. I've had internal referrals and this sort of thing. And so, as a person who has worked as a high achiever, right? I've never come into work as like somebody who was just going to sit up in the job. You know what I mean? Like I've
Mhm.
always gone, I always changed things. I consider myself as like a pioneer leader because a lot of times when I go into an organization, I have an HR role that no one has ever done before, right? And I'm
Mhm.
having to build those relationships. I'm having to bring those people together and make something productive, right?
Mhm.
Um, and so I think for me, it's just different because this is now a situation that I can't control. And if
Mhm.
you're old like me, I'll call myself old. I won't say I'm old, but I'm definitely not young. Okay. You see the
Mhm.
you understand a couple of things, right? One thing in life is that you don't know anything, no matter how much you know. You still need to always learn and have that mindset. But I think another thing is that you just really have no control. Even if you think that you have control, you do not have control, and things can
Amen.
change in just an instant, right?
Yeah.
And so having been unemployed for so long, going through things, my husband also became unemployed at the same time, right? So you get it, homeowner, we're people with college degrees, right? Like
Yeah.
we work and we work hard in our work. And so to have the situation where kind of everything is different, right? Not necessarily taken from you, but just you're a different person now. It has
Yeah.
caused me to really confront a lot of things within myself and say, okay, well, if I don't do HR or if I'm not productive or if whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not doing these things, then who am I? And it just
Mhm.
kinda hit a heads recently, just because, I rely heavily on the support of my friends, heavily on the support of my family. I've done everything that I can in terms of, like, applying for aid and stuff like that, but at a certain point, everyone is like, "Well, I can help, but I can only help so much," and that's totally fine. No one feels
Yeah.
any type of way about that, but you internalize that too. Like, okay, so not only am I unemployed, I'm applying for jobs I at least apply for like 10 jobs a day,
Mhm.
honestly. And so I'm going through all of this and I'm needing help and I have no one to reach out to. I'm worried about my children. Some weeks I'm like, how can I even get them to school? I don't even have enough
Yeah.
gas money to get them to school. So that is, or feed them, right?
Yeah.
Being denied for different benefits just because of how much we used to make, right? But we don't make
Right.
that amount right now. And
Right
so
now, yeah.
yeah, so it's really been trying and taxing on me, to the point where I don't even recognize my own thoughts sometimes, right? Like, and I journal a lot. I do journal a lot. And I was unable to get like mental health for a long time because I didn't have benefits. I was fortunately able to get some benefits through the state of Arizona because
Mhm.
we are both unemployed at this time. But my husband did get a job offer recently. So God is
Woo!
here. It's working. Yes, amen. But just going through that and just really having to ask yourself, like, am I really worthy? Am I really who I think I am? Because I've always had opposition. ADOT can tell
Yeah.
you I've never come from an easy life. I've gone through so much, but
Yeah.
I've always pushed myself forward. And now is the time where I'm questioning myself because I'm like, can I push myself through this, right?
Mhm.
What does this trajectory look like? I'm so happy though because I did reach out. I had called the prevention hotline, um, just to kind of talk to someone. And
Mhm.
when I did that, I realized that I was at a place, because I've kind of struggled with my mental health over the years with
Mhm.
depression. It kind of started with my daughter postpartum, right?
Mhm.
Not wanting to realize that it was postpartum, and don't get me wrong, I've had a great life despite a lot of different things, right? I've had
Yeah.
a lot of experiences that are one of a kind, and I would consider myself to be a blessed individual, but I think that was one thing I didn't necessarily get my postpartum treated. And then I
Mhm.
also had my son who is now 5 years old. So I had him in the height of 2020. 2020 changed something in me, I feel like,
Yeah.
because if you remember, Ada, I was like afraid to have my husband go to the grocery store. I was making him
Yeah.
like take stuff out of boxes. I was mad at my brother, like, don't come into my house if you've like
Yeah.
talking to other people. It was like really wild for me. And I'm not that person at all. I'm very much
Yeah.
like
But I
I'm
think
chill.
we were all I mean, we were all like
Yeah.
I remember, like, wiping the groceries down with
Yeah.
the
And like, why was we doing that? It was not gonna
yeah, I think
save
we
us.
were all kinda like that, but it was I wanted to, like, hit on something you said, I wonder and this may be for the next
Yeah.
conversation, but,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like, do you feel that, like, you got to the point you were at because you didn't know who you were outside of, like, working? Like you
Yeah.
work, you get a check, you do the
Uh-huh.
thing, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
all it's
I
like
would, yeah.
you know what I mean? You get what I'm trying to say, it's
I
just
do.
like
I totally understand. And I would say yes, but I would say yes, not because my job was my identity, but
mm,
because I dealt with a lot of traumatic things as a child,
mhm,
and they were never resolved. Like, I tried to go to therapy, like, in my early 20s, right, and get it fixed out, but I think the problem is that I'm so high functioning that when I was talking to my therapist or whatever, I just don't think that they really saw how it impacted me, right?
mhm,
And so, coming to find out, like, fast forward, so okay, I had my son, I had my postpartum there. I thought I was getting help, right? I went to my doctor. I said, "Hey, I have taken this medication in the past. I don't want to stay on it forever, but it helped me, after I had postpartum with my daughter a little bit." And I was prescribed that. But it turns out the dose that I was taking was not even a medical grade dosage. It was so low. Yes, it was so low that basically you medical grade would be taking two of those pills. I only took one of those pills. You can take up to four of those pills. So I
um,
was taking the dose of like a little old lady. So essentially, I'm out here living my best and worst life unmedicated when I needed to get medication. You know what I'm saying? I needed the medication. If I would have had
right,
what I
yeah,
needed at that point, it may not have gotten to this point, but
yeah,
it was there. You know what I
and I
mean?
think
And
what's crazy about that though is, like, it speaks to and this is like, there's so many topics here, but it's just
yeah,
like,
I know, right? Like, make a
that
list,
speaks to, like,
bro.
having to advocate for yourself.
Yeah, yeah, you have to. And here's what's crazy though, and this is why I say I've gone through a lot of different things, and I think I've always been a person of like extreme faith. You would say that
Mhm,
probably, right? Like,
yeah,
I love
mhm,
God. I've always believed in God. I've always said I can't do it without the Lord. You know what I mean?
mhm,
But I think in recent years, you see a lot of the evil that is happening, politically and just in people in the world. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of bad things happening out here, especially for someone like me who was born in 1983. Like, I done seen it from the beginning to the end. Okay. Like, this is happening too fast for my brain
yeah,
to
it's like
even,
you
like,
be honestly, you so numb. We done
yes,
been through everything,
exactly.
like,
You're like,
our generation, we've been through so much,
we have
like
just been through so much, and I hate to be that way. It's not numb, like I don't care, but it's that I care so much, and I feel like I have no
yeah,
power sometimes, and so I have to compartmentalize that because, again, I'm struggling to keep my lights on. I'm struggling to keep my house. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I can't worry about racism today. I gotta, like, do my thing or
right,
whatever.
right,
And so
yeah,
I think for me, just having to deal with all of that I think now I'm at a place that I never thought I would be at, because part of my positivity was like, oh, everything will be okay, right? Because people get over this stuff. They
Yeah,
roll back from these types of punches,
yeah,
but I think we're just in a different,
yeah. Till one
place.
day you're like, "I'm not okay." And I
Yeah,
think that's I will say for me personally, that's always has been hard because,
yeah,
like, as you know, I'm the strong friend in my friend group.
yeah. She is.
So, it's like there's been plenty of times I wasn't okay. Like,
Right.
I may have said something to my husband about it, but I may not have, like,
Mhm.
communicated it to you or communicated it to
Right.
my other 2 best friends, and things like
Yeah.
that. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's a lot of days I'm just not okay. And then when I realized what was freeing for me, even before, like, having a second baby and, like, all the things, for me to
Yeah.
be like, "It's okay to not be okay." And I'm
Right.
okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
And
like
that's very much where I am.
yeah.
That's very
It's
much
like,
where I
I
am.
think, when you're used to, like, being able to control everything. And I
Yeah.
think, like, for me personally, when my mom died, I really stopped planning stuff after that.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
just not that I just be out here all willy-nilly, but
She's one
I
of the
don't
most organized people I know, by the way. But I think she's saying
like, I
like
just be
I'll
like
plan, but I'm not tied
yeah,
to the
like,
outcome.
I'm okay if
Yeah.
this doesn't go how I'm planning it or
Yep.
in my mind how I think it should go or whatever. Like, I truly just be
Mhm.
like, "Okay, that thing happened. Got it,
Yep.
moving on,"
Yeah.
and it's like I still deal with it, like, in my own way, but I just not it's so much stuff, it's just always something, so I'm just like, "Alright,
Yeah.
whatever."
There is always something. I think for me, I needed to go to therapy years ago. Being unemployed,
Mm,
I was unable to get therapy. Now I have,
mhm,
health insurance, all these things. And, I'm being considered for some employment opportunities. They may work out, they may not. I have other
mhm,
avenues I want to pursue if they don't. So it's totally fine.
yeah,
But I think the biggest thing for me is just knowing that I have that support network. I cannot thank my friends and family enough. I've had some really, what do they call it? Dark night of the soul. Yeah, I feel like I've
mhm,
been through the dark night of said soul.
mhm,
And my friends and my family have really held me up. I
mhm,
think that's another thing that keeps me going. My children, right?
yeah,
I did want to leave, but I could not do that to my kids. I could not
yeah,
do that to my parents. I could not do that to my family, my friends. I could not do that to them.
yeah,
To me, it felt a little bit selfish, but I do have a lot of things that I'm working out, and I'm doing that through therapy. I'm actually very grateful. Anyone who lives in Arizona knows that medical care is a little bit is crazy here. Being from Michigan, it's like you can go to one doctor and they may be able to be your dermatologist and all these other things.
mhm,
Here in Arizona, it's very much separated, right? And so the woman actually who has been my doctor, my husband's doctor, and helped deliver my second child, ended up leaving the doctor's office that I was at. But when I went in to get emergency care, because I just was at that point to where I was like, do I stay? Do I leave? What do I do? She was a familiar face for me, and she is
mhm.
now my therapist. So
Oh,
I just want to
good.
say she's a Black woman doctor. She saved my life before, and apparently she's gonna do it again. Shout out to Dr. Dawn Bridges Jones. Thank you so much for just really helping me and advocating for me. And so we say all of this to say this. I have different medication. I'm feeling great right now. Honestly, I'm happier than I've been in years.
Mhm,
And so I want to say a few things. In the past, we've talked about HR professionals who are very stressed out, right? They are very stressed out. Everyone depends on them. It's just a stressful job in general. I
mhm,
think maybe more so if you get into BIPOC, right? Like if you are a person of color, if you have anything that is not considered the standard, the norm. I just want to put this out here. Make sure you are taking care of your mental health,
yeah,
because what I was doing was trying to pour from an empty cup. And so I was never able to, even though I haven't been working for a year, like a lot of people be like, oh, you haven't been working. Why are you so stressed out? You know what I mean? And so it's one of those things where you don't deplete the cup. If you feel like you're getting close to depleting the cup,
baby. We
reach
out here
out.
parched.
Yes,
Hard.
and reach out, ask for help, get the help that you need. I personally have no shame in it, you know. I've
Yeah.
been through a lot in my life, but I'm gonna move forward. And I'll look, my prayer is that I'll look back in a year, maybe two, and I'll see myself living my dreams and
Mhm.
understanding, you know, what I went through at that time. In worst case scenario, I know myself more now than ever, right?
Yeah.
If you keep going and you keep saying I'm fine and I'm okay, and you're not okay, there comes a point where you will not be okay, and your
Yeah.
life is basically going to crash out. So just wanted to tell everyone this is a safe space. We've been through a lot as professional as we are, right? As many
Yeah.
workplaces and in boardrooms we had to be in where we are the single voice of reason sometimes, you know.
Yeah. And the
Um,
only voice that looks like us.
Exactly, exactly. But we, you know, we understand it.
Yeah.
Everyone needs help sometimes, and there is
Mhm.
no shame in seeking the help that you need. And that's why I personally want to share my story. I know A Dot wanted to share her story, because we are women who care. We are women who strive for excellence. We always have. That's kind of, you know, between her and I feel like
Part
that's
of the
our brand.
reason we're in these issues, we got these issues we got
Exactly,
trying to be
exactly.
perfect. Oh my god.
Yes, no, I think the older you get, you realize you can't be perfect, but I just, you know, I just wanna
Like, I
encourage
think the
anyone out
older
there
I
who
get, I'm just like, I don't care. I
yes, and
I
that's where I'm at.
care, but where I put my focus is shifted.
Yes. Yes, exactly, and so mine is shifting to so many different places. I have a few projects that I'm working on. I'm so happy to share that with the audience when they're ready throughout the rest of the season, but A Dot and I, we just had to get back on this mic and let y'all know, like, we still here, we still
We're
trying,
here.
we still
We're not
thriving.
dead. We're here.
Yes. And we're here
We're
in
here.
2025. And so we have so much commentary about that. We have commentary about what it is to be a mom, what it is to be Black in America right now, right? Because these are just our experiences.
Mhm.
But we want to just have a candid conversation with you. Definitely will be recording additional episodes, but A Dot has to get back to the little baby girl. And I got to make a casserole, y'all. So we going to have to.
That's a roll.
Yes, it's gonna be good too. I got the good
Well, I
cheese.
mean,
Okay.
I made chili and smothered chicken and cabbage and rice today.
So
Like,
listen,
who I think I
one
am?
thing
Whose
about
big mama am I?
listen, no, one thing about Ada is she can throw down in the kitchen. Okay. Now God is still working on me, okay? But I can make a good casserole. I got like two casseroles I can make in some holiday things that we eat. But other than that, it's
And
left up to my husband, who is the
I wanted
chef.
to share too real quick before we let y'all go. For those that are, like
These are the
struggling.
church announcements,
Yeah,
folks.
these are your announcements. Govern yourselves accordingly. Um, but for those that are struggling, there is like a suicide prevention and crisis
There is.
helpline, and you
Yep.
can either call 988, you can
Yep.
text to 988. They also have a chat. So like if just you could do a quick Google search for
Yep.
suicide prevention crisis hotline. The information will come up. So again, don't suffer alone. There's people that love
Nah, yeah.
you.
Yes.
I'm so
And you
glad.
can report your situation anonymously too. Like,
Yeah.
so I did call 988 and they were great. They offered so many community resources. They were just a listening ear, and they actually help you to find resources that are in your community. So yes, definitely if you're struggling, please reach out. Please reach out.
Yeah. Reach out. Don't be ashamed. Reach out to a friend, family member. Hell,
Mhm.
call one of us,
Exactly.
whatever. Whatever. Reach
Listen.
out to us to our email, spillhurt@gmail.com. But,
Also, Instagram,
definitely
we're on
get
IG.
yeah, just definitely get what you need. Your life is always worth
Mhm.
living, and even though at your worst, there's always it could always be worse than that.
It could always be worse. And don't be ashamed that you've hit rock bottom either.
Yeah.
I
It's
never
okay.
saw
'Cause
myself
there's
as somebody
nowhere
who
to
would get
go. There's nowhere to
yeah,
go but up.
yeah, exactly. At least you at the bottom. Now you gotta get back up to the top, and
But
that's what you can do,
and
right?
I know this we're being serious, but I can't help it. Like Donnie said, "Get back up again."
Listen, okay.
After you done on your
Oh, is
period.
it song time? Is we're gonna sing a little ditty? I'm
No,
here
I'm
for
not
that.
gonna do a ditty today.
Well, just so y'all know, I've been warming up my chords, before this show, and I will continue to do so throughout this season because y'all gonna hear us harmonize, okay?
Right.
Also, I've been just to like use my time, I've been playing the piano and also I've been strumming the guitar. So I'm here. Like maybe
True.
next time I'll bring my instruments up into the studio. I
Oh
don't
Lord,
know,
she gonna be the Sunshine Band. Y'all remember the Sunshine Band in youth choir
no,
back in the day?
we gonna start with some Mary J classics. You know that about us, okay? Like in the dancery. I know you got them boots. Bring them boots out, A Dot. I know you got them. Okay. Meow, meow, meow,
All
meow.
right, y'all. Well, this has been really, really great.
It
I'm so
has.
glad we're, back in here and recording all the things.
Yes.
Again, this is A. Biggs and Sam with the Spill Her
Insane.
podcast. You can
Yes.
follow us on Instagram at Spill Her Podcast. All of our socials are Spill Her Podcast, Instagram,
Yep.
YouTube, TikTok. I don't think we're doing the X or whatever.
No, we
Um,
not for obvious reasons, but
yeah.
whatever.
But yeah, definitely if you got questions or topic ideas or anything like that, hit us up.
Hit us
Spillherpodcast
up.
at gmail.com. But
We love y'all.
no,
We giving y'all big
yeah,
hug.
big
It's gonna be
hug.
all right.
Right. We gonna
Bye,
be all
y'all.
right. All right, bye y'all.